Peter Lamage, Republican strategist, as well as Curtis Ellis, policy director with America First Policies and former policy advisor to President Trump. Thanks, you guys, for coming on today's program here. Peter, we'll start with you. What do you make of the allegation that Flynn had some dirt on former CIA Director Brennan and that he was running billions off the books, and Flynn wants to do an audit?
Was that for me?
Yeah, that's for you, Peter.
Okay. If that statement is true, that is very disturbing, and it should perturb each and every one of us. If General Flynn was targeted because he was going to investigate the mismanagement of the money, especially the dealings that were being done behind the scenes, I think that should concern every American, regardless of our political affiliations. The most significant statement that you should take from this is Rosenstein's statement where he says that we made significant errors during the FISA warrants. Now, those errors, were they intentional? Who was involved in these so-called errors over here? Was there an organized and very well coordinated by the DNC effort to make sure that President Trump doesn't get elected, or if he gets elected, he's impeached? I think these are issues that we're going to have to approach them properly, and I think the United States Senate, especially the Judiciary Committee, they should hold these hearings publicly so that the American people will be at ease when they hear the truth.
Based on this new information that we're learning, again, this came from Sidney Powell, Mike Flynn's attorney. Curtis, do you think Brennan should be worried about what might be coming his way?
Yeah, he should be very worried, and I think he is. You look at this man, he has a lot of bodies buried around him. That's the reason they were going after Flynn. Michael Flynn understands how the intelligence community works, and we've seen this over and over again in the Iran-Contra affair. They were running operations off the books. Howard Hughes, the late bizarre billionaire, eccentric, reclusive billionaire, he was a go-to for the CIA because they could get him to fund operations and fund missions that Congress would never appropriate money for. And then you have people skimming off these operations to personally enrich themselves. Now, I'm not saying that Brennan was enriching himself off of these alleged billions off the books, but you just never know. But Michael Flynn did know how these agencies work and that they're not a bunch of choir boys. And that's why he had to be taken out. And these people are going to go down fighting. They're like cornered rats right now, and they will do anything to get rid of Michael Flynn because he knows how this works, and he can tell the story, and I can't wait for him, too. That's why they're dragging this out. You know, yeah, that Judge Sullivan, he just wouldn't let this thing go away. The longer they can drag this out, the longer they can keep the gag on Michael Flynn, and hopefully they can push it, in their mind, hopefully push it past the election. Yeah. Because this is the biggest scandal we've ever seen.
Hey, Curtis, really quick, I've got about 30 seconds with you. Yesterday, Joe Biden held a press conference where he took a few questions from a list of reporters that he was going down, and no one brought up why he might have mentioned the Logan Act in Peter Strzok's notes regarding the Flynn investigation. Really quick, 30 seconds, your thoughts on that.
This goes all the way to the top. You don't have counterintelligence investigations without the authorization of the president. And now we know that Joe Biden suggested the premise for this whole thing, the Logan Act. They've got to hold him accountable. That's somebody for Lindsey Graham to subpoena.
Well, we'll see if he ends up doing so. Meantime, if the press gets a chance to ask a question about it, that's another question we'll see if we could ask the former VP. Peter Lamage, Curtis Ellis, please stick around. A lot more to discuss here on National Report.